What's going on, LPX community? Welcome to my car. Yeah, this is a little different scenery for you guys, right? Now, I know it's a review video, but yeah, we're gonna be doing a review video in my car for once. Now, the reason behind this madness is because, as you guys know, I've opened up a business for the last few months and I really haven't had time to really shoot videos for you guys. But the thing is, for my personal channel, I'm recording vlogs in my car every time I've been driving back and forth between my store. And I just realized that I could use this time to make videos for you guys in this channel. So from now on, we're gonna be splitting my time between personal vlogs and tech videos for the channel. So I know that this type of video might not be to everyone's liking, but hopefully some of you end up enjoying this style of shooting as well as the scenery. So unfortunately, for those of you looking for a high production value, lights everywhere, fancy scripts and everything, you have other channels for those. This is going to be just me just shooting the bullet and then giving you guys my 2 cents on these devices and as well as news pieces around the world. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the Samsung Gear S2. Now, if you haven't checked out my video yet about the Gear S1 versus the Gear S2, please go ahead and hit this video link over here to see my thoughts on that. That video is going to be slightly different than this one, the opinions at least, because I am basing the Gear S2 solely off my experiences of the Gear S1. So if you'd like to hear my thoughts on that, go ahead and click this link here. But today's video is going to be me talking about the Gear S2 with the non-biased view. I'm going to be talking about it as if maybe if this was my first device I've gotten, or for those of you who might be thinking about getting it and this being your first smartwatch. And to be honest, folks, it's a good watch. I mean, I'm going to go over all the other aspects, but my review on it is, put it here, let's just summarize it in a couple sentences here really quick. If I were buying a watch for the first time, I'd be buying this watch. I'll put it this way, it is a very refined watch, but the thing is, it also varies. For those of you who are watching this video for the sole purpose of, let's say you're shopping around for a smartwatch and you don't know which one to get and you stumbled across this video, or you're kind of debating between the other devices, to be honest, whatever you pick first, you're gonna love any of the watches. I mean, I'm gonna get this out of the way right now. A lot of these companies are saying that they're the best smartwatch to start off with, blah, 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 blah. But you know what, from my past experiences with everyone buying all these different watches and seeing everyone's, likes and dislikes for each one, pretty much whatever smartwatch you start off with is the one that you're going to like, because it is something completely different. It's like back when cell phones first came out. It didn't matter if you got a Nokia or a Motorola, Samsung, whatever you got back then, you just loved it. Because it was something new, it was something different. So it was something that you could never do before that you're getting now. So it's like that with the Pebble, Android Wear, Apple Watch, whatever it is. Just get their respective watches, folks, because no matter which one, and the thing is too, a lot of you may be budget tight, like you may not be able to afford a $300 watch. Then go out and get the $100 LG G watch, Android Wear, or the Pebble watch for you Apple users and Android users as well. I mean, there's so many different varieties of watches right now that you can get, that there is one out there that will fit your price range. So don't worry about all the newest watches coming out and everything. Just start off with one, because to be honest, you're gonna love it. Like, you can start off with even the Gear Fit, the watch that came out like 2 years ago, and you're gonna love that because you're gonna love the fitness parts of it. You're gonna love how it's not waterproof, water resistant, but you're gonna love how the notifications come through and everything, what you can do with it. You're just going to love it because it will give you the added, what's it called? I'm trying to think here. It'll just give you some added features that you've never experienced before, so you're going to like it in the end. So, I mean, there's my take on that, guys, but obviously I don't want to discourage you away from this device, because the Gear S2 is absolutely awesome. I know that's weird. If you watch my Gear S1 versus Gear S2 video, it's contradictory, but I absolutely love this watch. I mean, I'm not a fan of the circle design. I'm gonna say that right now. I have never been. I don't like the limitations that the circle design gives people. But on the other side, I can actually give credit to the device on how clear the screen is, how comfortable it is to use. It's not over obtrusive. It's not like oversized, so it's not a huge screen on the wrist. If anything, for those of you who are used to wearing watches, it's a nice replacement for you. It's a nice compromise because the thing is, it blends in very easily. So the watch doesn't stick out as saying, oh my gosh, that's a new piece of tech on your wrist. What is that? But the thing is, when people do notice it, they love it. The circle bezel, let's get that out of the way too. They talk about it all the time. The bezel, the controls and everything to actually navigate through some of the menus is actually quite nice. Every person that I've given my watch to play with it, they all smile. They're like, oh, it actually clicks. It actually feels good. Like they all love it. You know, everyone gets a smile on their face every time they see it, and it's just like that with all the other devices as well too, guys. But the circle bezel is really nice, especially some I've had some Moto 360 users as well as the G-Watch R. I had a couple of friends of mine who owned those devices, and I gave them my Gear S too, and they were a little bit jealous. They're like, this thing actually works a little bit better. They preferred the circle, the navigational buttons through that. So they were a little bit jealous on that, and the new interface too. So a lot of them were never the fit. So they're on the Android Wear boat. They like the Android Wear interface over the original Tizen interface. So the one I had on my Gear S, because I showed them my Gear S, and they still went with the Moto 360 because they just preferred that interface as well as that design. Now let's fast forward 9 months later with my watch, and now they're just like, they're about to switch camps. They actually liked the updated interface. They like how much more capacity it has, as well as the added apps that they added, and on top of that, just the look of it. For a lot of people, it actually wasn't the Tizen interface, because the Tizen interface is actually really easy to use. Yes, you don't have all the apps available in the world, or compared to the Apple Watch or the Android Wear market. Yes, there are limited apps compared to those app markets, but I'm gonna tell you this, guys, right now. If you guys are a first-time smartwatch user, or even a veteran one, you know that you don't end up using like 90% of those apps, because all the big stuff that you would want to do, like, I don't know, YouTubing, Facebooking and stuff, it is just much easier to do it on your phone. This watch is not meant to replace your phone, guys. It isn't. It's meant to be a supplement, an additive, like a Bluetooth headset almost, just an extension of the device. It's, you know, it's like a beeper to a cell phone, you know, that's like back in the day. So it's not really meant to replace it. So don't act like if it doesn't have a proper Yelp app or a Facebook app that you're not going to be able to, you know, use the device as you intended to. That's not how it was meant to be used. But please don't let that statement deter you for your app users, because you're going to get your mouth full. Because compared to last year, there's significantly a lot more apps and a lot more development support for Samsung's Tizen interface. So don't worry, you're going to get plenty of apps to use. I'm just going to tell you straight up, it's comfortable, it's easy to use, the battery lasts a good while. For those of you who are worried about battery, a lot of these watches have been getting more and more efficient with their battery, and I'll tell you this, guys, right now, it lasts longer than the Apple Watch. I told you guys, like last year, if you saw my Gear S video, my Gear S lasts upwards to 2 to 3 days on a full charge, and the Gear S2 is not that far behind it. I feel like it uses a little bit more power due to a number of reasons, but I've been able to use my Gear S2 for up to about two full days, actually. Literally 2 full days. It actually died out after about 2 days plus a few hours. And yes, for those of you who are looking for my durability test, I am not going to be doing one because I am giving this away to a subscriber. It's already been done. Don't ask about the giveaway or anything. I've already done the video, and the person is going to be receiving it very soon. But I'm not going to go ahead and purposely try to go damage it or scratch it, because the individual who won is going to want to at least be able to use it for herself in a nice condition. But I can tell you this, guys, right now, even though I am certainly kind of afraid to put it through those tests I did with the Gear S, it's not because I don't think it's going to last, it's because I don't want to scratch up the stainless metal finish. It's just like any watch you get, especially a nice watch. You don't want to go purposely scratch it. I mean, it's going to get accidentally nicked or scratched. If you're going to fall, you hit the wall. It's going to happen. It's going to survive that. The thing's built pretty well. I'm just not doing it purposely because I don't want to it's like buying a new car and then it's like giving away a new car, but then saying, hey, I'm gonna go to put through like a weather test really quick and throw hail at it and everything and see if it survives. Yeah, I'm not going to be doing that. But folks, I feel it's just as confident about this device as the Gear S, so I wouldn't worry about its durability-ness. And to be honest, for those of you who have been normal watch users, do you purposefully throw your watch on the ground? Do you literally crawl on the ground with your wrist pointed to the concrete floor and everything? I don't think so. So I think most of you will be fine. And for those of you who are worried about the water resistancy, so all the water tests, throwing to a glass of water and everything, all the stuff that people been doing last year and this year. Here, I probably have already been doing it, but I've been playing a video. I will be playing a video of me just washing my hands with the device, and just, you know, just a very long video of me just putting my hands in the sink with the water, and you can see it's just fine. So for those of you who worry about, you know, it raining or all of a sudden you accidentally fall into a puddle of water, the device is going to be fine. It's actually meant to be water resistant up to about 1 meter or so of water. Now, for those of you who are wanting to swim with the device, because last year when I did the waterproof test, a lot of people were like, oh, can I go to the beach with it and go swimming with it? I have personally done it, but I don't condone you guys to do it. I don't recommend you guys to do such things because it is not meant to be swum with. It's like, you buying a $400 Invicta watch, or I don't know what fancy watch brands are there, but you buying a fancy watch and then you go swimming with it? No, you don't. You don't do that. I mean, yes, my device has survived, but the thing is, I've had subscribers message me mixed messages because I've had people who went swimming the entire day with their Gear Fits and the Gear S's, but then I've had people who literally said, oh, I fell into a pool and when I came out, it just stopped working. Now, there's a lot of things coming into play here because I don't know how they were wearing it, I don't know which ones they had, or if they properly had the SIM card slot sealed, etc., etc. There's a lot of things that could be playing into it, but number one thing, I don't recommend you guys going swimming with it by all means, but for those of you who go to the gym, who are in areas that typically rain a lot, I wouldn't worry at all about showering with the device or washing your hands, getting a little wet, or even falling into a puddle of water. And yes, even for those of you who get pushed into a pool, just get out really quickly and your watch will be just fine. Now, another question that I've been asked frequently is about the ease of use of it. Is it easy to use? Is it easy to own? And I can say that yes, it is. And I may be a little bit biased because I've been using smartwatches for like the last 3 years, ever since the first Pebble came out. And the thing is, yes, at first, it's going to take time for you to get used to the interface. It was like that with the Pebble, and the thing is, every time I've gotten a new smartwatch, I've been having to relearn it because every interface is different. The Apple Watch, the Android Wear, Pebble, Samsung's watches, they all operate very differently. I mean, yes, there's the touchscreen functions, but each of them have their own style of doing the home screen, notifications, etc. It is not a huge learning curve by all means, folks. You can just literally sit there, and every single watch has an intro tutorial. Literally, you turn on the watch, it's gonna tell you, all right, let's go ahead and navigate your new watch. Swipe up for apps, swipe left and right for notifications, swipe top down for your menus and your time and battery life. Like, all of them are pretty much similar to one another in a sense. Not exactly, but every watch will literally have a tutorial video so you can go ahead and learn your new device. So I wouldn't worry about learning how to use it. So it's gonna be pretty straightforward. And what's nice is too, this watch compared to the other Gear devices actually has wireless charging, as well as also too, it's very comparable to all the other competitors because it doesn't require a contact connector. And what I mean by is, if you look at some of the other devices, they have like a gold strip on the back of the devices where you have to meet the charger and the watch to in order to charge the device. This thing is truly a sealed device, because the issue with one of the old gold connectors is that they wear out over time. Even my old Gear S has started to wear out. Yes, it still works, but if it continues to deteriorate that much longer, you may need to actually either resolder it or just get a new device. So this actually helps with the whole corrosion factor and saying, well, here, you can just go ahead and do wireless charging from now on. And that is very convenient because you can literally just go home, take off your watch, put it on the charge stand, you're ready to go. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about clicking into a charger adapter or even breaking the little charger pieces, which has been a problem with all the original Gear S chargers. So that is a nice fix that they did, and it's very nice that it's wireless. And in terms of the charger, guys, it charges relatively fast. Now, I haven't sat down and actually clocked how long it takes to charge from 0 to 100, but there was a day where I came home, my watch was at 10%. I put it on for an hour and it was already up to like 89%. So that could be a telltale. I mean, my timing could be off, but I literally came home, put the watch onto the base, went down, ate dinner, came back up, and it was at 89%. So. And to be honest, guys, at the end of the day, I really don't have too much cons about this watch. I mean, you can go ahead and watch my Gear S1 versus Gear S2 video to see what my cons are about the device, but those cons are based off of my opinions of the Gear S1. But as a watch by itself, I really don't have complaints. I mean, the only one I can really majorly think of is, well, it doesn't have 3G or 4G support because it doesn't have a built-in SIM card. But the thing is, that's because I bought the sports model. There is actually an LTE model, which will give you the remote connectivity, the 3G services and everything. So you don't need a Wi-Fi or be having to directly connect via Bluetooth. So that solves it right there. I mean, that's for those of you who are willing to pay the little bit extra. I like the fact that the bands are also easily removable. Compared to the Gear S1, they're on there much more securely. It's not to say that the Gear S1 wasn't secure. It was, it was fine. It stayed on really secure. Even if I fell, it stayed on pretty well. The only issue I had with this is that over time, the rubber elastic bands got a little loose, so it started to warp out a little bit, and it made you worry. It just made you worry a little bit, but nothing serious. But the thing is, Samsung is actually offering different types of bands for you guys, as well as different models, because you can actually get a leather or metal band for this watch, and that's an awesome replacement for those of you who don't like the sports bands. I mean, the sports band's nice because it's actually very multi-purpose. You can actually just put it on and go through your entire day and not bother you, because honestly, the rubber band is probably the lightest and it's the most durable. You can go through not only your regular work day, but you can go to the gym and do any high intensive activities without having to worry about the leather wearing out or the metal scratching or rusting over. So I'm one of the people that prefer the sports bands. I know a lot of you do too, but for those of you who don't, there are alternative models for you guys. Now guys, another thing about the cons about this device, you actually fall into two camps of relevancy, because the thing is, all the cons might not be relevant to everybody, and you fall into either one of two camps. And one is if you're a first-time buyer, and one is if you're an experienced user, because a lot of these tech companies and reviewers who have been talking about some of the cons about the device, the thing is, they are experienced users. They're comparing it to other devices like the Apple Watch and Motorola 360 and all, etc., etc. But the thing is, as a first-time buyer, and I said it before, you may really not have that many complaints. I really can't see you having too much, other than maybe the circle screen might be a little bit too limiting, or you might not like the circle bezel, etc. And maybe there might be some apps that aren't there that you really wanted, but at the end of the day, you're really not going to be using it. And that's in my opinion. But as a first-time user, like I just said before, you have no bias. You haven't experienced a smartwatch. So all the features that you're going to be getting are just going to be bonuses to you. Hell, you could just give someone just notifications. That is it. They get no apps. They just get pedometer, time, and notifications, and the ability to read their texts and emails. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will be happy with that. Hell, that's how the first Pebble was, and me and all the other Kickstarter backers loved it. That's all we cared about, and all the other extra stuff that came out, thereafter, we just loved. It was just bonuses to us. So, to be honest, there's really not that many cons to talk about, especially for you first-time users, and even you experienced users. The only complaints I have is the lack of some, like they removed a lot of functionalities that they did that existed for the Gear S1, in the Gear S2. A good handful of stuff that I found annoyingly removed. So things just like auto brightness and dim. Actually, there's one con for you guys. So one thing to look out for you first-time buyers is that this device does not have an auto bright and dim, because it doesn't have the light sensors like the Gear S1 did. So if you're like a movie theater or going to a dark area, just keep in mind that you might want to put it in do not disturb mode, or just lower the brightness setting so it's not, you know, blinding you in the middle of the movie, or even at night if you're coming home and you're walking around, or let's say you come home to your wife and you don't want her to wake up, all of a sudden, boom, this bright LED light pops up. You don't want that happening. So just make sure you put on do not disturb mode or lower the brightness screen. But the Gear S1, it auto dimmed. That's my little preview of my Gear S1 versus Gear S2 video if you want to check that video out. But the thing is, I know there are those people out there who, even in watching this video, their sole purpose is to downplay this watch. They have their hates about it. They have their gripes with it. So go ahead and comment down below and give us your opinions of why the Apple Watch is better, or the Huawei Watch is better, or why you just hate Samsung. Just go for it, guys. That's, you know, it's there. It's free speech. You can go and put in what you want. But in my opinion, guys, and once again, I am not sponsored by Samsung by any means. If Samsung is watching this video, they would love to. Hey, I'm right here. But at the same time, I don't really care. I'm not biased towards their devices. For me, if you guys have watched my other videos, I always stress that I am a person that follows innovation. I love companies that push the tech even further. I love when they improve it, and even when they take 2 steps back. It's like Candyland. They take 3 steps forward, but take 2 steps back because they forgot to put in some functionality and stuff. Samsung for the last few years has been a company that always, in my mind, pushed the envelope, but also made some questionable decisions. But they seem to come back around and fix them after hearing customer demand and customer complaints. So this time around, we'll have to wait and see what they really do with their phones, the next wave of watches, as well as how they push VR out to the consumer market. But all in all, guys, just like most of the reviews out there, I love this device. A lot of people actually praise this as the first watch that can actually compete with the Apple Watch, but I don't understand why they have to say that, because the Apple Watch barely competed with the other devices, in my mind, because there's such a lack of functionality and hardware, and as well as hardware capabilities in the Apple Watch, that really didn't allow it to compete with the other watches. The only reason why they sold so much they do well is because for Apple users, you guys really didn't have much choice. I mean, Apple Watch was the only really good watch for you guys. Yes, you had access to the Pebble, but it was also very limited in what you can do. So that being your only smartwatch, you got it. And the thing is, Apple, you know, you get the Apple fanatics, they will buy anything Apple, so they sold it. But guys, this watch is, I can tell you right now, I've used the Apple Watch. I've used it. All its limitations and all, I love the Gear S1 over the Apple Watch any day. And this one right here also falls into that mantle. So, you know, for those of you who might be saying, oh, will this compete with the Apple Watch? Yes. Yes, it will. So, calm down. You're gonna be fine. But guys, that is my opinion on the device. I personally like it, but I am not going to be holding on to it. Say what? I know. Before you comment down below on that, it's because number one, I actually gave it away to a subscriber because that's what I promised to do. I ran a GoFundMe campaign a few months back in order to get this device, but in turn, I said I would give it away back to subscribers, so that is what I'm doing. And the second reason why I'm holding on to the device, it's because, if you've seen it in my Gear S1 versus Gear S2 video, it's because they've removed a lot of functionalities that I enjoyed in the Gear S1 that didn't exist in the Gear S2. It's not a bad watch by any means, but for me, I'm a fan of holding on to tech that progresses. So for me, ever since the Pebble, all the watches I've ever gotten have either moved laterally or moved up. Now the Gear S2 for me was a step back, but by all means, it's not a bad device because it pushed forward in other aspects, but it removed a lot of the key functions that I personally like to have. And on top of that, I really am not a fan of the circle design. I know a lot of you are, but for me personally, I like the square design of the Gear S1 and the larger screen, obviously. But if you want to check out all the other Gear S1 videos I did in the past, I did an initial review, I did a 6-month review, I did a bunch of durability tests, and I've done a bunch of how-to tutorials on how to use the device. in my channel. So go ahead and I'll leave a playlist to all my Gear S videos in the description box below. So if you want to check those out, go ahead and click. And quickly before you go, if you liked this video as well as this new style of shooting, please go ahead and leave a thumbs up down below. And if you actually watched to this part of the video and you liked what you heard, as well as if you'd like to see the other videos I've done, subscribe. By subscribing, not only do you help me grow this channel even more, but you let me know that you actually like my videos and I continue to pursue doing more videos for you guys. So please guys, whatever time of day it is that you guys are watching this video, please have a good day, good morning, and good evening. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.
Well, what's going on, LPX community? As the video title suggests, today's video is going to be about the Gear S1 versus the Gear S2 and see which device is better. Now, for those of you who are impatient and just want to know my opinion, I'm going to spoil the ending now. The Gear S1 is better. But for those of you who actually want to hear all the reasons why, out of my opinion, please stick around. As well as I need to warn you that this video is very biased because, not because I'm sponsored or blah 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 blah, I've owned the Gear S1 since it came out last year, so I know all its